What's a moment that still hurts, even years later? Years ago, I worked as a male escort, not something I'm proud of, but it paid the bills. One night, I got a message from a woman named Camilla, a stunning 26 years old. Her profile picture alone made me do a double take. Long, dark hair, curves that could stop traffic, and a smile that made you forget where you were for a second. She told me she wanted me to be her first. That part threw me off. A woman like her could have men lining up to worship her, and she was calling me. When I arrived at her home, I realized she was even more beautiful in person. She opened the door in a silk robe, soft candlelight behind her, the smell of home-cooked food drifting through the hallway. She'd made a full Southern dinner, cornbread, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and poured me a glass of red wine like we were on some kind of intimate date. After dinner, she led me to her bedroom. The lights were dim, the air smelled like vanilla, and she asked me in this nervous, teasing tone, "Can you take your shirt off and dance for me?" I laughed, played along, started slow, and I could see her blushing, hiding her face behind a pillow, peeking out like a shy teenager. But then, something shifted. Her breathing got heavy, her eyes filled with tears. Suddenly, she said, "I'm sorry. I can't. Please don't hurt me." Her voice cracked. She broke down right in front of me. I sat beside her, trying to understand, and that's when she told me everything. She said that every time she tried to be intimate with someone, memories from her past came rushing back. The times she was taken advantage of, manipulated, used. She said she wanted to feel close again, but didn't know how, so we didn't do anything that night. Instead, we spent hours talking, baking donuts in her kitchen, and walking through her neighborhood under the streetlights. There was something magical about her, fragile, yet powerful. Later, when I was about to leave, she looked at me and said softly, "Can you stay? I just want to fall asleep next to someone and feel safe." I stayed. She curled up against me, her head on my chest, whispering that it was the best day she'd had in years. The next morning, I made her breakfast and left, convinced I'd never hear from her again. But a few days later, she called. Her voice was trembling. She asked me to come over, said she had to tell me something in person. When I got there, she was crying, her robe loose, hair messy, eyes red. She looked beautiful, even like that. She told me she'd just been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. The doctors had given her less than a year. She said she didn't want to die without knowing what it felt like to truly connect, not just physically, but emotionally. So that night, I held her closer than I'd ever held anyone. It wasn't about work anymore. It wasn't about fantasy. It was real. She cried afterward, not from pain, but from relief. She said, "You made me feel alive again." I didn't mean to fall in love with her, but I did. We spent her final months together. Long drives, quiet mornings, dancing in her kitchen. She became the most important chapter of my life, even though I knew how it would end. And one morning, she was just gone. Her last words still echo in my mind. "You made it all worth it." Then, silence.